So, second thing which we are talking about, the forgetfulness and liberation. Okay. I'll try to explain it through very simple words. Okay, the root cause of the bondage of the forgetfulness is because we don't know who we are. We forget that who we are, and we don't know who is the Supreme Person of Godhead or the Brahman is. Okay, and we have forgot the relationship between us and the Brahman. Yeah, so this is one of the challenge we had. So the Jivatma keeps hoping from the branch. Okay, Jivatma is keep moving from one branch to one branch. It's like one body to another body, seeking the fulfillment of the matter. So what we have to do is from this particular theme is like Jivatma has to remember the Brahman, accept that the Brahman is the guide, okay, and the master. Yeah, and then we should stop competing to take the control from this material world. Okay, that is what is a quick summary for this forgetfulness and liberation. Yeah, and then so we have another theme over here. Okay, that is nature of nature of existence. Yeah, that is nature of existence. That is the third theme we have. So the Upanishads make a very, very subtle point. Okay, Jivatma and Brahman share one thing we have to remember is the quality of unity. The quality is so quite very same, but the quantity is a major distinction between the Jivatma and Brahman. Okay, that is one of the very key point. So Brahman is infinite, all-knowing, source of everything. Jivatma is finite. Okay, and dependent on Brahman. Okay, so these are the very, very wonderful themes which we had yesterday. So let us have little few questions. Maybe we will try to have very, very basic questions so that like everybody can participate. Okay. See, one fundamental question which I would like to ask is if Brahman is there, okay, within, okay, so why doesn't Brahman intervene immediately, okay, when we are doing mistakes? Okay, everyone can answer this. Hare Krishna, hope my question is clear.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so it's a very nice thing why Brahman is there, all pervasive. He knows sitting in your heart, and when we do mistake, why it doesn't reciprocate? Because here we have our personal free will. So Brahman doesn't want to stop our free will. That is a core reason of that. And we suffer or do whatever is there because of our past karma. Brahman has nothing to do with that. It's only so we do ourselves. Right. So both things are there. Brahman watches as the other bird is watching, and we enjoy or suffer. That is the understanding of that.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Perfect, Prabhu. You have just hit on the nail, actually. Okay, with one
Prabhuji, we are suffering because of our karma only.
because of we are suffering.
Our desires and karmas.
Okay. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Someone else, I think, tried to comment as well.
And one more thing that Prabhuji, that still we don't recognize the Brahman. Why he's directing, but we cannot understand.
We cannot understand. Okay.
Because of our material desires.
Because of our material desires. Perfect. Okay. All are very valid. Thank you for okay.
Prabhuji, one more thing. We are both ourselves. We are both. The analogy is given by the two words on a tree. We are both Brahman as well as Jivatma. We Jivatma. We are engaged. We are having body. We are engaged in enjoying, eating, filtering, in all these worldly activities. And the Brahman, that is the part of Brahman, we can say, that is looking what we are doing.
Witnessing.
We sometimes when we are doing wrong, we listen the inner voice.
Inner voice.
And we ignore that. Due to that reason, we suffer.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. But one small correction I want to make. Maybe it is just a word mistake or something like that. Okay, we are not Brahman. We are connected to Brahman. Okay, I just want to emphasize. Yeah.
We are not the part of. I think. Thank you, Prabhuji.
We are connected to Brahman. We are connected to Brahman. That is a better word.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. We will get the characteristics of Brahman. Okay. So after sadhana. Okay. That is what we should say. Yeah. Okay. Let us move to the next slide, slide 4. Philosophical assertions. Okay. Philosophical assertions is the fourth theme. So many Upanishad statements speak about non-duality actually, but note that non-duality does not mean that everything is same in all aspects. We have to remember all that, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Everything is not same in all respects. So it was the confusion is being created, but it means that nothing exists independently of Brahman. That is what we have to remember. Okay, according to this particular theme, we have to remember this. Everything is same. Everything we should not. It doesn't mean that everything is same in all aspects. No. Okay. But nothing exists. We cannot exist. We are not independent of Brahman. We are completely dependent on Brahman. Okay. All right. So let us move to the next thing, that is personal relationship of non-duality. So the Upanishads go beyond the philosophy into the relationship. Brahman is actually eternally aware. Okay. Jivatman is prone forgetfulness. Okay. We completely forget. Okay. As some of you already mentioned. Yet Brahman never abandoned the Jivatma. See, which body you go, okay, Brahman will not leave us because we cannot survive without Brahman. Yeah. So, but you go to another body like a dog body, pig body, or any other mosquito body or ant body, okay, we need Brahman. So it is witnessing patiently when this person will turn, okay, and guiding us silently through inner voice. But we have to listen that inner voice as Rajkumari Mataji is mentioned. Yeah. So that is personal relationship is non-duality. Yeah. So the conclusion is in very, very quickly. The Upanishads, okay, clarify the relationship, okay, with Brahman. Yeah. See, liberation is not becoming a Brahman, but living is awareness of that Brahman. Okay. So that is what is pretty important, okay, for us. Getting the characteristics of that Brahman. Yeah. So let us see one or two questions if it is possible. Okay. Anybody wants to cover like how we connect emotionally or what is our relationship with Brahman? Anybody wants to comment on that particular point? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji,
can
Hare
you
Krishna.
repeat the
Yeah.
question?
Yeah. You want me to repeat the
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Oh, go ahead.
Prabhuji, can you
Yeah.
first repeat,
Okay.
then I will.
How we are emotionally involved or what is our relationship with Brahman, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, we are the part and parcel of the Brahman, our Lord. So we are connected with the Lord, and we have same quality which Brahman has, but very little. We are not in a quantitatively, but quality we have same quality. So we can feel whatever Lord feels, we also feel like that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So let's move to the next slides. Okay. So I would like to go as fast as possible so that we will get the nectar from Charu Prabhuji. That is last part of these particular Upanishads. Yeah, this is slide 5. What is that first theme? Understanding the self. Yeah. So here the theme, basically it's because in this modern world we are egocentric, okay, self-centric, that I am independent, yeah, self-sufficient, okay, I am depending on myself, okay, this kind of philosophy. But actually the true self-understanding begins with identifying the shift from I am the body, I am the achiever, to I am the consciousness and I am dependent on Brahma. Okay, so that is what we have to move towards. Okay, that is what is exactly understanding the self. The next one is path of liberation. Okay, that is next theme, which is being mentioned here. So liberation is not achieved by intellectual mastery or self-depreciation, but through surrender and understanding the higher reality. Okay, that is the only path of liberation, Prabhuji's Mataji's. So we have to acknowledge our limits. We have to seek guidance. Yeah, we have to seek the guidance. Okay, and we have to align our will with higher wisdom. That is the only path of for liberation, Prabhuji's Mataji's. This transforms the lives of complexity. We are in a very complex world, right? Lives of complexity into the meaningful journey. Okay, rather than just satisfying our material needs. Yeah, that is the path of liberation. Okay, Hare Krishna. The next theme which we are talking about is ethical implications. Okay, let us understand this theme as well, and then we'll have some little questions, few questions, one or two questions. That is, ethical implication is recognizing the bond between the Jivatma and Brahman. Yeah, okay, and that is refreshes our ethics. When all beings are seen sustained by the Brahman, right, then the compassionate will be there. See, a dog is being sustained by Brahman, a cat is being sustained by Brahman, okay, a tree is being sustained by Brahman, I am being sustained by Brahman. When we have this kind of understanding, right, we will have compassionate in this nature, okay, we will live harmony with this particular nature. Yeah, so hope it makes sense. Hope it is all making sense. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Okay. So I'll just ask very, very fundamental question. Okay. So why is surrender is very essential for liberation? Very generic question, which is there in this slide, and also you could ask in a very, you could answer in a very generic way as well. Yeah. Why is surrender is very essential, okay, for liberation?
Because without surrender, we cannot understand the bonding and Brahman
Ah.
towards him.
Even
Otherwise,
humility
I'm have the
cannot
doer
come.
mindset. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Mataji, go ahead. Sir.
Even humility did not come.
Yes. Perfect, perfect. Humility doesn't come. Yeah. Okay. Because
One thing more we can say, Prabhuji, when we surrender to God, and we are totally depend on, surrender means we totally depend on God, then God also take care of us.
Yeah.
बहुत ज़्यादा वो फिर वो करते हैं. So that's why surrender is must. If anybody surrenders, then he has no worries. He needs to no worries. उसको he's totally contentment. He has totally contentment he has if he surrenders.
Yeah, I can understand, Mataji, how much surrendering you have. So you are how much you are enjoying the spiritual journey. Thank you, Rajkumar Mataji. I can understand.
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna,
go ahead.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Mataji raised what aspects of surrender, that just like a child surrenders to the mother, so no worries. That's one. But another aspect we have to also see, we are in material world, but we are not eternally from this part, right? So we suffer here. We need to get out of. So only anchoring to the one who can take us out of this material world, who is all pervading, all powerful, and who has the ability to take us out, is the only Lord who can take us. So unless until we surrender, why he will have motivation also to take us out? So two parts, both are there. One is we get by surrendering, that is the best thing that our outcome can have. Another is he is the only one who can take us out of this misery, and nobody else. So that only can happen by absolute surrender. Otherwise, he will not do that. So both things are important.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, Prabhuji, one example is there, Draupadi's. When she completely surrendered, only Krishna helped her immediately. Just when she depended on everybody, there was no call from Krishna. But as soon as she said, "No one can help, Govind, just help. I'm now. It is everything in your hands." So that is the way she surrendered, and God saved her.
So wonderful. So wonderful. Char Prabhuji, you're trying to add something in there.
No, that's I think my sister already spelled out what I wanted to say. Because this material world, padam padam vipada, every step of the way, danger is waiting for us. So we need total dependence, and total dependence will come when we surrender.
Yes.
And we surrender means we really have no other help. Actually, we are going to get the sixth aspect of that in one of the 11 lectures that we are going to begin next week onwards. So the surrendering aspect, we are going to go in much greater detail, the 6 different aspects of it there in Jaiva Dharma. Actually, we did the course, 48 lesson course, Jaiva Dharma. So we will revisit insofar as this surrendering aspect comes in that. So great detail we are going to hear. Okay.
Thank you. So let's move to the next slide, slide 6. Thank you, Prabhu. There is so much nectar, Prabhu. Okay, there is so much of learning we are having actually in this life. Okay. It's all learned by Krishna for sure. There's absolutely no doubt in that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the fourth theme is critique of monism. Yeah. The Upanishads actually carefully critique the impersonal monism. Okay. Actually speaking, it was a completely different understanding through all these 4 sessions for me on Upanishads. I used to think that Upanishads were too much of talking about actually impersonalism, but actually it is not completely true. Yeah, it's not completely true. By having the understanding the distinction between Jivatma and Brahman, okay, we can have the meaningful devotion possible, okay, to even Upanishads actually. Yeah. So our moral responsibility is actually preserved. Yeah. So the next theme which we have is a spiritual practice. So philosophy finds a completion in practice. Otherwise, philosophy is not complete. So the Upanishads emphasize that self-realization is a transformative journey. Self-realization, it's not it doesn't happen in a day. It may take even the lifetimes. Yeah. So continue remembrance of one's relationship with Brahman. That is what is Upanishads are talking about. Yeah. So spiritual life is not escape from the world. No, we don't need to escape from the world, but reorientation within this world, leading to mindfulness, devotion, and inner stability. That is what is spiritual practices. Yeah. So that is what we understand. Okay, from this part 10. So wonderful, actually, so wonderfully documented. Yeah. So I will just ask a very, very fundamental question. Why is strict monism is so problematic? Yes, Mataji. Everyone can answer this. Hare Krishna. Why so strict is actually a problem. Strict monism is a problem for us. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah. So because this is the crux of Mayavadi philosophy and personalism, impersonalism, everything. Whole this vertically divides the transcendentalists into 2 parts. Because in monism, you don't have personal. You just merge with so-called merge, and you lose your identity. But which is when we have a deep understanding, it's not possible. And there are a lot of things we can talk about more. So both parts are there. Adi Shankaracharya, he wants to bring monism, and Sadhu Prabhuji explains very details why he deviated from the true path. If you understand that part, then we understand why this deviation was done with the intention to bring back again on the to Vedic, establish Vedic civilization. So nobody wants to be our person. We are our own desire. We have everything. How it is possible? Just go and evaporate everything. If that is also motivation, and if we think somebody, okay, so I have gone and there's nothing, then what is the left out there? So everything is gone. So important is that keep our identity, but again, we are not a rotten thing. We are part and parcel of the all. We are transcendental. We are under the shelter of the Lord, and if you live with Him, then we can be eternally happy. So having separate individualism and working with the Lord or dwelling with Lord is more pleasurable, more relishing, more meaningful than just simplistic way of just merging with Him and getting rid of all our miseries. That doesn't show. That doesn't explain everything. So
Yeah,
that's what
perfect.
I understand. Yeah.
Perfect, Prabhu. Thank you very much. You hit the nail. Okay, impersonalism cannot help on devotion. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so we are moving to part 11, the different states of Jivatman. Okay, so in this, the first one is the nature of Jivatman. So the Upanishad describes the Jivatma is okay in infinitesimal. So often it is compared to the split in the hair. Okay, to emphasize it is very small, which is atomic size. Okay, yeah. Then actually the thoughts over here is the Jivatma is very thin in magnitude. Okay, and it is connected to the infinity, which is the supreme absolute, that is Brahman. Okay, it is individual and never independent. It is connected. Yeah, it's very important for us. That is the nature of Jivatman. We have to remember this. So this duality is very crucial for us. Okay, the soul is not Brahman. Okay, yet it is never separate from Brahman. It is connected from Brahman. That is what we've been hearing. Yeah. So the next theme is embodiment and identity. Yeah, that is second theme. So the Jivatma itself is beyond gender. Yes or no? It is beyond gender, beyond physical attributes, beyond social identity. Okay, that is what is identity we could see. The next theme is perpetual cycles of birth and death. That is samsara. Okay, we all in this samsara. Samsara is not random Prabhuji's Mataji's. It is patterned by intention and action. Yeah, I am in this human samsara because if I do some bad things, I will go to some other samsara. Yeah, which is with a society of dogs or cats. Okay, so that is what is going to happen. Okay, so we have to be very careful. So the Jivatma carries the tendencies. We have to remember that. Okay, when I'm leaving this body, I carry my samskara, the tendencies, yeah, and my desires, acts. Okay, we're doing so much of action, acts, right? So through desires and all that, I carry forward the samskara, okay, our tendencies. So, and thus we move from one body to another body. Yeah, that is what he's talking about, birth and then death of samsara. So I will just ask very fundamental question, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Is this samsara is a punishment for all of us? Is it a punishment?
No, it's an opportunity to get out of the
Right.
vicious cycle of birth and death.
Actually, all these things are helping us to come out. But in this experiencing, so that we have the challenges. You just hit the nail. Just hit the nail. Yeah.
Prabhuji,
Thank you.
actually, misery is also very good for us because by continuous facing the misery, we can understand why this is happening to me. तो हम कुछ सोच सकने के लिए काबिल बन सके. अगर कुछ सब अच्छा होता तो कोई कुछ सोच ही नहीं सकता था कि हम किधर दूसरी जगह जाना भी है ऐसा.
Wonderful, Mataji. Wonderful, Mataji. Thank you very much.
We remember God only by suffering.
Yeah. Perfect.
Otherwise, so we will not remember God. And we will not try to
Absolutely.
reach
Absolutely. Thank you, Mataji. I am so relishing actually this recap. Okay. I have no words to explain how much I'm relishing. Yeah. So let's continue with a few more themes. Theme 4, union of body and soul. Okay, that is, it is talking about the role of prana here. See, prana is acting like a connector. Okay, it binds the jivatma in this physical body. That is what we have to remember. So without prana, the body is inert. You all know that. The soul cannot interact with this. The soul cannot interact with matter. Okay, so prana is not actually soul. Okay, I had a very wrong perception once upon a time, but after understanding, coming to the Krishna conscious, understanding all these slides, understand prana is not soul, but it is operating the bridge that makes the embodied life possible. Okay, that is what it is doing. So union of body and soul. Okay, the prana. Okay, which we are talking, which is playing a very vital role. Okay, in this particular body. The fifth one is Prakriti's three gunas. Okay, the Prakriti's three gunas that we are talking about, which we have seen multiple times, all these things. The material nature functions through three gunas that we have seen. Sattva guna, which is harmony, which gives the clarity on the purpose of the life, and the Rasa guna, okay, the passion, yeah, and then Tamo guna is inertia and ignorance, yeah. So these three gunas is shape of perception and our influence and the influence desire. These three influence our desires, and then these three, how much I have depending upon my future destination. So I belongs to Sattva, Rasa, or Tamo. It all depends upon our future journey. Okay. So I will ask a very fundamental question. Yeah. Can we go beyond these three gunas? Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay. How
By
can we go
practicing
beyond?
the wonderful devotional services
Ah.
under the guidance of bona fide spiritual
Perfect
master,
spiritual
we
master
can
of fact. Yeah. Okay.
we
Anything else?
can
Yeah.
uplift ourselves.
Uplift ourselves. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Let's move to the next theme. Okay. What is this? States of consciousness. Once again, Hare Krishna. Did I miss anything? No, I didn't miss anything. Hare Krishna. Yeah, the next thing is what? States of consciousness. Yeah, okay. Parts of existence, elements of existence. States of consciousness. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So the Upanishads articulates the distinct states of consciousness, okay, which is talking here, yeah, in this particular theme. Okay. So wakefulness, dreaming, okay, dreamless state, and turiya, okay, which is which we been discussing, that states of consciousness. The eighth theme is talking about elements of existence. Elements of existence. See, in this particular theme, it is been talking about the physical body is composed of 5 elements, which we clearly know that all that. Yeah. Yesterday also we skipped that earth, water, fire, air, and ether. All these things we clearly know. Okay. So that is what is there in this part 7, because elements of existence we've been hearing quite some time. Yeah. So that is what yesterday also we skipped. Okay. Some of these topics to move to the next theme. Yeah. So shall we move to the next thing? Hare Krishna. Yeah. So the next one is what? The philosophical significance, unity and diversity. Okay. Hare Krishna. One second, philosophical significance. Yes, yes. What is this? The first one is what? Unity and diversity. It's pretty important theme for us to understand. Okay. There is something for us to learn here. This theme explores the non-duality, okay, without collapsing individuality. Okay. The Upanishads actually insight is subtle that the Jivatman is individual. It is been talking about that. So non-duality here means that non-duality, again, it's very important for us. Otherwise, we get confused on these Upanishads. Non-duality here means that no independent existence apart from Brahman. Okay. Not everything is same, but everything belongs to one reality, that is Brahman. Okay. So the diversity is real. Okay. Unity is foundational. Okay. And that is what we have to understand from this theme. And then ethics and morality. Ethics and morality is, ethics in Upanishads is not rule based, but it is exactly, okay, it's of a law based, a law of karma. Okay. So some of the key ideas over here is actions have inevitable consequences. Every action has an inevitable consequence. So these consequences shape our soul's journey, our journey. Correct? We are soul, right? Our journey. Okay. Moral living elevates the consciousness and destination. Okay. It's pretty important. So we have to be always very conscious what kind of deeds, what kind of things we are doing in our day-to-day 24 hours time frame. Prabhuji's Mataji's. Okay. Because all those things are shaping up our future journey. Yeah. So the next theme is being talking about here, what? Transcendence. Transcendence. Okay. This is basically the inquiry into waking, dreaming, sleep, deep sleep, and the Turiya state. Okay. These are talking about the deep philosophy. Actually, the Turiya is, okay, the remaining three we understand very easily. Walking, that is state, dreaming, and deep sleep. The Turiya is a state. It is not just another experience, but actually it is witnessing the awareness behind all the experiences. Yeah. So that is the Turiya state. Okay. The next theme is interconnectedness. Okay, let us understand what is this interconnectedness. By tracing the body's elements back to Brahman, okay, so the Upanishads is revealing that not exists, we don't exist very independently. Okay, the matter, life, and consciousness, all these things, whatever we're talking, no, all these are interconnected. Yeah, the world is neither illusion nor ultimate. This is not ultimate, and this is not illusion. It is meaningful because this is all rooted from Brahman. Yeah. So that is what we all, everything is connected. That is what we have to see. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So I'll just ask very fundamental question. Why this interconnectedness is very important for us in this spiritual journey or whatever. Yeah. Hare
Till the
Krishna.
time we are not connected, we will not feel the empathy for others. Like we won't be able to rise above ourselves. So although we are distinct, but we are part of the same community. So that is to be realized.
That has to be perfect. Good. Yeah. Okay.
It also
सबने
nurtures.
परमात्मा का दर्शन करना जरूरी है.
Sorry.
जब हम रियलाइज करेंगे तब हम दूसरों में भी देख सकेंगे.
Okay, okay. So I am at 7:15. Okay. So I am moving to the next, I think part 13. Yeah, part 12, sorry, part 12. So this part 12 is slightly easy. Charu Prabhuji, I will just try to take 5 minutes and I'll try to wrap up. Okay, as early as possible.
It's okay. Don't do it. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So the part 12, okay, this part 12 is slightly easier when compared to other parts. Okay, transformation of Jivatman. So the theme 1 is transformation of Jivatma. Okay, that is, let us see a quick summary of that. See, the Upanishad describes that Jivatma is caught, okay, is ongoing cycle of birth and death, samsara, okay, we are here, driven not by a chance, but by attachment to this material world, okay, not by chance, okay. So the two fundamental forces operate here. One is attachment, okay, and then the karma, yeah. Okay, assigned from this desire. So every action leaves as imprint, okay, or shaping up for us in future for us. So the soul's future experiences, okay, every action what we are doing, it's going to imprint in our minds. So the form, okay, that is what we have to remember, okay, in this particular thing. So we have this cycle of spans 8.4 million species we have, okay, across these particular heavenly, earthly, and hellish conditions. Okay, so we have to remember, okay, what we are doing, what kind of karma we are doing. Okay, so that is what, and destinations after death. Okay, destinations after death. As Prabhuji has explained yesterday. Okay, after death, the Jivatma faces 3 broad outcomes at a high level. 3 broad outcomes. One is could be the Swarga. Okay. Upper planets, okay, or Manusha on this particular Earth planet, human birth, or Naraka, or lower claims, lower births, shaped up, okay, because of our destructive actions. Yeah. So overall, all 3 remains within samsara. Whether if you are in these 14 planets, you are in the samsara. We have to come out of this particular Maya. Maya is there in all these 14 planets. So freedom from cycle itself, but Maya intensity might reduce depending upon where we are. Yeah. But Maya is there in all these places. Yeah. So I will just ask a very fundamental question. Okay. Everybody can answer this. Okay. So why this human birth is considered so special? Okay. So big, great opportunity for us, which Krishna has given for all of us. What do you think this is so special?
Because in no other life form one can attain to moksha or get rid of the birth and death cycle.
Perfect. Thank you, Mataji. So let's quickly move to the next slides. Okay, the slide 13, which is analogy of a chariot. Okay, we have seen this particular thing multiple times. Maybe I'll try to quickly wrap up in half a minute. So the body is a chariot, senses are horses, mind is reins. Okay, intelligence is a driver, and Jivatma is sitting in a passenger. Okay, that is what analogy of a chariot, which we have seen. Yeah. Okay, and then what is this process of what is this process of transmigration? Transmigration. So that let us see it very quickly. The Upanishad describes the transmigration is a gradual and purposeful. It doesn't happen so abruptly. Okay, the caterpillar analogy is being explained here. Okay, in this particular theme. Okay, is the soul reaches forwards to a new body while still anchored in the old one. Actually, we are creating our new next bodies, Prabhuji's Mataji's. While we are living in this body, we are preparing ourselves. Okay, desire is stored in the mind. Okay, determines our next forms. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So such a beautiful knowledge, such a beautiful knowledge. Okay, so let us see if you are fine. One question, a very fundamental question. Can we alter our next birth, Prabhuji's Mataji's? Can we alter our next birth? Okay, depending upon my conscience today, can I change my next birth? Is it there in our hand, or it is there in the hand of Brahman?
Yes, we can surrender to God and keep the sangat of.
Yeah, till last second, we have the chance, opportunity to change our next birth or no birth. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
What is that? Ante Narayan Smriti, right?
Ante Narayana Smriti, yes.
If you
Yeah.
do
और
that,
प्रभु जी अगर दे भी
everything's
तो भी
taken care
फिर
of.
भी डिवोटी के घर में दे बस.
Yes, yes. It's an opportunity for us. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's move completely, try to wrap it up quickly. The slide 14, that is theme 5, that is karma and conduct. So scripture strongly emphasizes that conduct shapes destiny. Yeah. Okay. Then our virtuous actions elevate the soul refined births. Yes or no? Yeah. So harmful or striking conduct disgrades our consciousness. Absolutely. We know that. Yeah. That is of karma and conduct. So the next theme which we are talking here is the paths after death. Okay. So there are two paths which we are talking about. Okay. Pitriyana. Yeah. Okay. Pitriyana and then Devayana. Okay. That is path of ancestors, path of gods. Yeah. So that is what we have seen in the paths after deaths. Okay. The next theme which we are talking here is beyond good and evil. Yeah. So Upanishads make a radical point. Good and evil are real within the samsara. Okay. That is there within the samsara. But they do not define our true nature of Atman. We have to remember that, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Both piety and impurity are temporary conditions. Still part of bondage. Okay. If clung to even attachments to rituals and charity. Yeah. If ego is driven, can prolong our rebirths. We have to remember that. Yeah. So we have to go beyond good and evil. Yeah. So that is what this particular theme is talking about. Hare Krishna. So this is a philosophical significance which we have seen, which is talking about the part term, that is cycle of samsara, which we all know, the moral responsibility and self-realization and the spiritual path. Okay, all this been discussed yesterday. So I will try to wrap it up here. Yeah, I think this is the last thing. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for this opportunity. There is so much of learning I had. Hare Krishna, Charu Prabhuji, Sarat Prabhuji. This is so wonderful actually. The recap, there is so much we are learning actually, Prabhuji Smriti. Prabhuji, Charu Prabhuji. Okay. Thank you very much for this idea itself of this recap. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice
Personally, I
recap.
feel there is so much of uplifting happening. Yeah. I really
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisance. All good Shri Prabhupada. So first I will share my slide, so then we can talk about. All right. So today, as we have come towards almost the final lesson now, that is the fourth lesson now. So we have done, Prabhuji just recapped these 4 lessons, 10, 11, 12, 13. And today we'll be doing, 10, 11, and 12. So today we'll be doing 13, 14, 15, and 16. Now, the way I understood, actually they are in 2 segments, defined segments. 13 and 14 is the segment 1, and 15 and 16 is segment 2. So we have been talking about so much towards the last end, the Jivatman, interrelationship between the Brahman and the Jivatman. So now we are talking about the third link in that, Brahman, Jivatman, and this Prakriti. And Prakriti's part in this material world. So how does Brahman interact? First of all, Brahman is the one who is the creator of this material world. Okay, so that aspect is given in chapter 13 and 14, part 13 and 14. As you can see that part 13 is the Jagat we are talking about, and different ways you can describe. The names are also given different. as we'll see in a moment. So understanding the cosmos as Brahman's manifestation, Brahman created in his both aspects, as Paramatman as well as Bhagavan. Paramatman, he actually enters in the Prakriti along with the Jivas, and the Jivas are introduced in the womb of the Prakriti by the Bhagavan aspect of Brahman, that is Mahavishnu. And when the cycle ends, cosmic cycle, then we go back in the body of Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu, because our karmas are not yet resolved, so we need to, Bhagavan aspect of Brahman gives us another opportunity. So repeated opportunities we get, because that is one of the reasons why people wonder why the Supreme Brahman seems to be wasting its energy again and again, creating, maintaining, and then destroying, and again creating. What is the purpose behind that? So our acharyas explained one of the main purpose is to really reclaim. In fact, one of the 6 questions of the Naimisharanya sages to Sutta Goswami was that the why, for what reason did the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, comes again and again? So there it is, Sutta Goswami replies that he wants to reclaim this living entity's suffering, and the Brahman is very, very compassionate, gives repeated opportunities. So that aspect that is being discussed here, understanding the cosmos and Brahman's manifestation. And the part 14, the Prakriti aspects of it, because material world is part of Prakriti. So there's an interplay, that interconnected point that we were discussed by Prasad Prabhuji, the interplay of creation, illusion, and reality. Illusion, because that is a Mayavad philosophy, okay? And what is the role that Parinamvada, so there is a 2 kinds of philosophy. Vivartavada means very word Vivarta is talking about the illusion. That is the theory, doctrine of the Mayavad school, that all this material world is not real, it's just an illusion, okay? Created by avidya aspect of it. It's just like an analogy is given, snake, rope and snake. The rope dangling in the dusk when the sun is about to set. So it's like a semi-darkness, and the wind makes the rope dangling on a branch of a tree. So from a little distance, we feel sometimes that rope resembles a snake is there. The fear factor comes in our body. We want to run away, right? So there it is explained, Vivartavada, that this rope snake analogy reminds us this like material world. Material world seems like reality, but it's not reality, because the avidya. What is avidya here in this in this analogy is the semi-darkness. Just imagine that is like a jnana. If the proper lighting condition is provided, then we'll see through that the snake is not really, it's just an illusion aspect of it. There's a Mayavadi aspect of it, okay? So that, what is the interplay between the creation, reality, all these thing aspects that we'll be talking about, okay? And what do the Upanishads teach us in that aspect? So that is segment 1 in terms of Jagata, material world, Brahman, and we the Jivatmans. The second segment, which is given in part 15 and 16, it's now the Jivatman wants to get out of this vicious cycle. Okay, so the transmigration that was introduced in yesterday's lecture is going to be expanded in this class. in this part. So practices for Brahman realization. So first you need to realize Brahman, and here again, Brahman aspect is there, Paramatman aspect is there, and actually finally Bhagavan aspect is coming into play. Okay, so that is the how do we practice sadhana bhakti? Practicing bhakti means sadhana bhakti, and there are three components of sadhana bhakti. Can anybody tell me that what are the three components of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti? There are two kinds of sadhana bhakti, right? Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and Raganuga bhakti.
Raganuga. Yes.
What is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti? There are three important components that we must all remember.
Sambandh, Prayojan, and Abhidegna.
Yeah, that is one aspect of these three aspect of it. One view of it. What is the other real practical aspect that must sadhana? Practical means the when we practice learning how to render bhakti. The learning aspect I'm talking about.
Yeah, follow rules and regulation established by acharyas
So
or
because
shastra.
Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, right? So we
Yes.
follow the rules and regulation of what? The Vedas, right?
Vedas,
Vedic
yes.
injunctions. Vedic injunctions that clearly tells us how we should conduct ourselves. So that is the first aspect of it. But Vedas, by its constitution, it is not very clear. There are built-in contradictions are there, right? So how do we understand the right way what is implying? So what is the second aspect that is?
Following our acharyas' footsteps.
Very good. So that is the second aspect of it, right? Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, and we need a guru. So intermediate between the two is what?
Our spiritual master.
Yeah. So spiritual master teaches us how to make sense of the Shastra. So these three aspects is in Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Okay. So that sadhana bhakti is all about in this part 15 is there sadhana in the. So it is showing what the Upanishads say about our sadhana bhakti. That's what we are going to hear about it. Okay. And final, all this thing you learn. Now you want to put it in practice. You want to execute what is the supreme goal ought to be in our life. So remember, there are purushartha, 4 kinds of purushartha on the material platform. What is that? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? But you need to go beyond than that. And because these 4 are on the material platform. Now we want to become free from material existence. So that's called Param Purushartha, the supreme action of us. So that Param Purushartha that we are going to learn in the final segment to put together everything that what we learned so far. Okay, so the ultimate purpose of the Jivatman's existence, why we came, what did we learn in our samsara, in our experience, suffering and enjoyment. Finally, what lesson did we take? Okay, and so that is our goal, supreme param purushartha. So I've given you an overview of what we are going to hear in today's class. Okay. So that is this lesson 4, 13 through 16. The cosmic perspective means this cosmos, material universe, from that angle. So examining the interplay of the universe, Jagata, Brahman, and our Jivatman, ourselves, this souls, embodied soul. We have this material body. How do we see ourselves vis-a-vis this material world all around us and the Brahman? Okay. So Brahman, again, we are going to see the Paramatman aspect as well as Bhagavan aspect. And Jivatman's transformative path to enlightenment. This is a very, very important phrase here. Pay attention to it here. What does it say? The Jivatman's transformative path to enlightenment. All three words are extreme importance. Can somebody explain me these three words? What is enlightenment? What is enlightenment? What does it strike you?
Enlightenment means our jagruti, our consciousness,
Yes.
awakening of the
It
consciousness.
teaches.
Exactly. You
Our
hit it right to the
self-realization.
head of the nail. Exactly. So now all these things, experience, suffering, everything that we saw, even happiness, it turned out to be very momentary, temporary, not a real happiness. And then we woke up from all this horrible nightmare. That is sure we become enlightened. Okay? So then there is a path. There's a way to get ourselves out of this mess. So that's the path. But then what is transformative word strike you?
Change in our
Exactly.
path.
We were in jail, prison, and now we saw the path that we become free as a bird now. We can get out of this cage. Even though that cage seemed like made of gold, nonetheless it was a cage, imprisonment. And now, so this is a path allows us to transforming. That is the greatest quality of this power of bhakti path that takes us, free us from imprisonment to freedom, going back to Godhead. So the transformative nature of bhakti, which is incredible power that bhakti has, that is what we are going to hear about it. Okay. So you can see in so many aspects, these final lessons, these 4 parts are very, very useful. Okay. So let's get into it now. So remember, I divided this 4 parts into 2 segments broadly. 13 and 14 is one segment. In that segment, we are going to hear a lot about this material world and our role in this material world and Brahman's aspect. Brahman is not only the creator of this material world, but also this interrelation between Jivatman and Jagata, a part of Prakriti, how that, so it's a triangular communication is taking place. That we are going to hear about it, okay? So what is the definition of the universe? It begins with that very fundamental question. The Upanishads articulate. What is the word articulate? You could have said that Upanishad teaches us. Simple word teaching and articulation. Do you see the difference in the word? Obviously, articulation is much more powerfully communicating with us. So I'm giving you the hint. What is this articulation means? Somebody is able to speak, teach, but when he articulates a particular subject matter to his students, what does that mean?
Yeah, Prabhuji, explain about that what we are discussing in a perspective that is required or in detail,
It gives clear
bringing
idea.
out what is the
No,
essence
not
of
just
that.
detail. He could be giving
Essence of-
detail round and
Prabhuji,
It
he
gives
could
a
be taking
clear
you,
view.
he could be giving you round and round about it.
It gives a
essence of
clear
that.
view.
Prabhuji,
Clear
more
view.
emphasize,
Clear
Yes,
view.
clarity. Rakshamata ji
clarity.
put it right
Clear
way.
view.
Clarity, clear view. Very clearly simplistic way, not being oversimplistic. So when he is able to tell his students in a clear-cut way, then that means he is able to articulate what he is teaching us. Okay, so that is the meaning articulate. So that's what Upanishads, in a very clear way, without any kind of going round about it, it tells you right away. So that's why the word articulate, it's used that. a rich tapestry of concepts to capture the essence of the universe. It tells us exactly what this universe means, cosmic manifestation, that we are in it now. We are the inhabitants of this universe, and the place of the inhabitation is this Jagata, material world. And there are different ways the word is coined. Some people call Jagata, Jagat, this word. Somebody said Loka, because it is a place of a temporary residence, right? In this life, the Jagata, material world, is providing us a place to live. So Loka, like Vritti Loka and something like that, So it's a word like a realm. Sorry about it. And then Vishwa. Vishwa is another word calling Jagata. The Vishwa Rupa you must have heard, right? Virata Rupa. So that is also totality. Everything, gigantic universe is there. Remember, this earth is just a small, tiny dot in the cosmos. There are galaxies, solar systems, galaxy, billions of solar systems in that, and there are billions of galaxies. So a very huge cosmic world is there. Okay. So the totality of that, the 14 planetary system we're talking about, is all part of that Jagata. So you have to have a broader view when we talk about not just Earth. Okay. And it's called another word is called Prapancha. Many different folds, many different kinds. So this 14 planetary system is that. Then it's a tamas. Material world is in the tamas, in the mode of ignorance, because it binds you and it puts you in a kind of inertia, forgetting us, making us forget for our ultimate destination, the spiritual world. So it puts us in that darkness. And Prakriti is the one who administers through her three gunas. This material nature is Prakriti. Each term offers unique insights. Obviously, you can now guess it. All this thing that we just talked about, there are deep meaning behind that, enhancing our understanding of the universe's complex and multifaceted nature. The pronoun idam, idam jagat, this material world, okay, that also has a significance to it. It reinforces the reality of the universe. Unlike Mayavad, Mayavad says, no, whatever you are seeing, all these things, even though it seems real, but it's all illusion. And Mayavad likes to give that analogy like a dream. In the dream, you see everything. So while you're dreaming, everything seems real. Okay? Isn't it? Until you wake up, then you know, oh, it was just a dream. Winning $1 million lottery. Or some terrible thing might have happened in your dream. Bad dream, what we call nightmare. So as long as it's happening, it seems real. But when you wake up, then you realize it was all. So sometimes we may dream what's called our head is cut off. And that really happens in the dream. Terrible thing that's not likely to happen in real world. But we dream. And then we wake up, suddenly we realize, how can the head is cut off and you can see yourself? That's completely, it's completely impossible. So that's what Mayavadi gives this their favorite analogy. They give rope snake analogy, and this dream world also they are saying that yes, this world really seems real, but you are actually dreaming, what they're saying. But Parinamvada punches holes in that this Mayavad philosophy. It cannot be. It's actually the transformation of Brahman. That is what it is actually. So each term offers unique insights, enhancing our understanding of the universe's complex and multifaceted nature. To understand Jagata, there's so many things to learn from Jagata. I mean, when we go to school, college, university, so many aspects of material world we are learning, right? So many different aspects, physics, chemistry, all these things, how the material world works. That's what I'm, look at how my training evolved when I finished high school and got into college. I was interested in learning science. Okay. So in science, my major was chemistry, physics, and mathematics. Then I got more specialization. Okay. So chemistry really intrigued me so much, molecules, things like that. Okay. How molecules interact. So chemistry, there are 3 or 4 aspects of it, right? Inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, and physical chemistry, these 3 aspects. Then I was intrigued by this organic chemistry, how the molecules combine, organize. The whole thing is making sense if we understand organic chemistry. That was my goal at that particular time in my life. Okay. Then organic chemistry, organic means something in the some organization and living system. So that I got into biochemistry in my master's level. And when I went to the doctoral level, I wanted to learn that chemical reactions in the living organism and how does that happen? What is it controlling? Then I got into genetics. So you see, so this material world, just I'm telling you my small tiny atomic example, how complex it is. So from the perspective of all of you, so many different aspects. So this material world is very, very complex, okay? But beyond this complexity, you want to transcend that if you want to get out of this material world. So this is what Upanishads are teaching us. First is help us to understand what is really the material world and how do we get out of it. That also sheds light by these Upanishads. The supreme goal, supreme control. Okay, Brahman is the creator, not only the creator, but also controls. And the Prakriti is given the role to administer, okay, but at the same time, it also oversees the role of Prakriti. So in the profound verses of Sri Usha Upanishad, the very first mantra is what that? Exactly. Can somebody remember that verse? I can tell you that verse. Very,
Yes,
very
yes,
beautiful
yes,
verse.
Prabhuji.
And it transmits very important lesson actually. Ishavasam idam Chakshamati, can you complete that verse? Ishavasam idam.
ईशावास्य इदं सर्वं यत्किञ्चिन् जगत्यां जगत् येन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिता मा गृधः कस्मित् धनम्.
So what is it telling you that? That all this entire world, idam, this material world, is owned,
Belongs to.
created and owned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And then says, everything doesn't belong to you.
Yes.
Your part is already been given there. It's already, your quota is reserved for you. Understand that. And don't expect to go beyond than that. Knowing who does it belong to, knowing that belongs to the Supreme Person. So that is teaching us. It's profound verses of Sri Upanishad. This is one example, the very first verse. It tells us that you have your limitations, your need. What is that is? Then don't worry. You're not going to. You're whatever you are going to get. It is already been reserved. The quota is already been reserved for you. You are going to get it. Okay, but don't be too greedy more than what you deserve. So that begins with that teaching, Ishavasya Upanishad. So we learned that universe is the rightful domain of the Supreme Lord. Right, that kind of realization should set in our mind when we are in this material world in some lifetime. Hopefully, in this lifetime, you learn it that there is a Supreme Person of God. Nothing, what science teaches us today, that everything is by chance, Big Bang theory. Nothing has happened by chance, because the material world is so organized, fine details. The planets are there, precise way mathematically. If few degrees here and there, the planet cannot suspend itself in the cosmos. Okay, so there must be some supreme intelligence must be working in the creation of this material world and the way it is being run. So then the God concept of God should sets in. So that so here it says that cosmic, the debate between Parinamvada and what is it? Am I going backward or forward? Let me see. Okay, so we were talking about Isha. We learned that the universe is the rightful domain of the Supreme Lord. So this teaching compels us to approach all things with reverence. What is the word reverence? Everybody understand that?
Respect.
You revere someone. So there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that reverence must be there. And your personal responsibility. Advocating for an ethical way of living where we take only what we need. That's what is Shavashem first verse, we learned that, right? So we have to have ethical conduct, morality, that aspect should be there. And there is a supreme being there that we should have a reverential mood towards that. So such guidance, so that is the beginning qualification that we must have if we want to become free from this golden prison. So creation and dissolution, that aspect, there two differing philosophies are there. Mayavad's philosophy is called Vivartavada. Everything is illusion. It seems like real, like in a dream state, but there are certain things right there you should realize, how is it possible my head is cut off and I'm being able to see that? So material world could be like that, so that is Vivartavada, it's just an illusion. But Parinamvada, the Vaishnava philosophy says, no, material is real, but it's temporary, and it is a transformation of Brahman. That is Parinamvada. So transformation of Brahman is this material world. Brahman itself enters within it, maintains it. Without the presence of the Paramatman aspect of Brahman, nothing can proceed further. So there's a sarga and visarga, right? The 16 elements, the 5 senses, the 5 object of senses, and tadamatra, the object of senses, right? There are 15, and 16 is mind. All this has been created, that is sarga. Okay, there's Brahman aspect of it. Then there's the visarga. Visarga is the one that's creation by Brahmaji, and Brahma himself was created by the Supreme Lord. And then through the Prakrit's 3 modes and everything like that, the from the Ahankar aspect of it, then that aspect, he created this 8.4 million species of life form, and depending upon a particular desire, a tailor-made body is given. That's why we have this complexity of 8.4 million species of life forms. Okay, specific body we get. So in that body, the best chance to carry out our unfulfilled desire from previous life, that opportunity is being provided by the Brahman. Then there are places to live. 14 planetary system according to your karmas and so on like that. So how complex it is, all these things, and how fantastic arrangement by Brahman is there. So energy and transformation. According to Upanishad, the universe comes into being through the transformation of energy. That's exactly called Shakti Parinama. It's not just transformation by the potency of the Brahman. It happens not by some kind of magical trick. So the supreme potency of Brahman, the word Shakti Parinama, that is introduced in a Vaishnava way of thinking, where Brahman's energy takes form without compromising its original nature. The analogy of a seed, so that seed and a tree, cause and effect. Okay, the seed is a cause, the effect is a tree, and tree is again going to bear fruit, and within fruit there are seeds. So tree also could be cause, and effect is the seed. So you see, all these things cycle keeps repeating. So Brahman's energy takes form without compromising its original nature. The analogy of a seed evolving into a tree and powerfully illustrates this concept. Both the cause and effect are distinct yet intricately connected. By simple this analogy, seed and a tree, you can understand that, you know. So energy transformation takes place. And that is the very fundamental basis of Parinamvada philosophy. Nothing illusion, but everything is temporary. It has a beginning and it has an end. So the nature of universe, we have given some idea, we got some idea of the universe, how it is, how complex it is, but very well designed, very well fine-tuned, and well-oiled machine to work effectively the working of the universe. And it's not mechanical. There is somebody there who is running this universe, maintenance of this universe. The nature of the universe, a grand perspective. So definition of the universe, we already discussed that. This also we discussed. So this is the nature of the universe, the grand perspective, cosmic potential. Prior to manifestation, the universe lies in a latent state within the divine body of Mahavishnu. So this is what, previous to this cycle, the cycle is ended now. Okay, in that particular cycle, all the living entities with the karmas frozen, we go back into the body of Mahavishnu. And then Mahavishnu, in the next cycle, the dormant body, along with their frozen karmas, are put into the womb of Prakriti, with Brahman also entering in it, because he has this unfulfilled desire. When he takes a new body, everything is forgotten. He's totally ignorant, the soul. Okay, Jivatman, because now he's got a body embodied. Okay, and then it is from Paramatma aspect of Brahman that reminds what for you are here. Okay, and gives all the facilities, at least to make an attempt to fulfill those unfulfilled desires. So all these things is by the mercy of Brahman, Paramatman aspect of it, and he's constantly there in the heart. To all the time he's reminding you, is helping you, is guiding you at every step of the way. But it will give you in the context of a particular stage in your life, what stage of realization you are in that particular life form, you are there. Okay, so very fine tuning is there. So prior to manifestation, the universe lies in a latent state within the divine body of Mahavishnu, much like seeds poised for germination. So not only the living entities are there, okay, but the material world is also created, maintained, then dissolved. All this aspect also ties in that. This There are several kinds of pralaya is there. A very organized way of destruction is also there, not haphazardly, not just setting up a bomb and explode. Very well controlled way. Have you seen the skyscrapers when they destroy it? In a very defined way, they put these fuses. In a very restricted way, the whole skyscrapers falls in a precisely only in that particular area. The side buildings are not at all affected. Right? Have you seen that on YouTube? If you go, how they disintegrate a skyscraper. So this is destruction of the entire universe. Billions of galaxies. Everything is a destruction also, just like creation, in a very defined manner. So there is some intelligent being is there. That's what I'm driving at that point. So that intelligent being is there. The realization of that must set in our mind. And Upanishads are precisely telling you various different kinds of Upanishads, how the creation takes place, how the dissolution takes place, how the living beings goes through these different cycles of evolution. Everything is being actually explained in different Upanishads. Nothing is kept secret within us. Philosophical clarifications. The Upanishads assert that both the material world and living entities constitute eternal truth, directly contesting the notion that they are mere illusions. So Maya says everything's happening illusion. But how this illusion could be so perfect, everything is designed in a particular way, that cannot be just simple illusion. Okay. That they are mere illusions. So that is contested by Parinamvada philosophy. You really need to study very well Jivatman and Parinamvada, and we discussed already 3-4 times thus far, and we are going to revisit again in further. If you want to understand Vedanta Sutra, all these things are there in Vedanta Sutra in a very discrete way, in within 4, 5, 6 words. All this knowledge is packaged, and we need somebody to explain to us. That's why what makes Vedanta Sutra is so difficult to understand. We have to have some superior being, more knowledgeable, more self-realized soul to make us understand. That's why all these prerequisite courses that I designed in 11 lectures that we are going to hear, and previous to that, these 4 lectures of Upanishads, and even previous to that, Shad Darshana, all these things very carefully designed. I thought a lot, several days. When I first studied Vedanta Sutra myself, I realized how difficult it is and what particular knowledge that is required, prerequisite. That's why I'm trying particularly, because very next Friday, we are getting into it. Okay? So Sarga and Visarga, all these things, in Bhagavatam, we did that, right? Second canto, beginning that, third canto, fourth canto, all these things are explained. So role of the Lord in creation. Direct role is there in its creation, very methodically. Brahman is there. Brahman actually enters in it. And every step of the creative process, without Brahman being present, the Paramatman aspect of it, the next step cannot proceed further. It gets arrested at that particular point. And that's actually, when you study creation in Bhagavatam, you realize that when Brahman is not there, that step is frozen at that level of development, that level, that evolutionary cycle. Lord's active engagement in creation, anupravishya. Pravishya means enter, anu means following. Every step it's following in a methodical way, allows for the universe to take on a diverse names and forms. The interplay between divine qualities, Shakti, Lord's power, potency, is there every step of the way. And the act of creation highlights the dynamic relationship between the supreme and the material world. See that? When Purush and Prakriti combines and becomes Pradhan to Mahat Tattva, and Mahat Tattva, then the Ankar aspect that explain all these things are every step of the way, Paramatman is required. So the conclusion of this theme, 7 aspects of it, part 13 delves into the, so now it's just summarizing that part 13, the first part, 13, 14, 15, and 16, right? The 13th aspect is this. So this, everything we learned about material world so far, and the intervention of the Brahman that we saw that, and the Jivatmans being there in that. So all 3 are interconnected very tightly in a methodical way, well-organized way, well-oiled machine. As a vibrant expression of the Supreme Lord's energy, it reaffirms that the universe is not just mere illusion. How could it be mere illusion if it's that methodical, well-organized? But is a genuine manifestation of Brahman's transformative power. Look at again the keyword transformative power. And that bhakti process to become Brahman realization, Paramatman realization, Bhagavan realization is the transformative process. And that really attracted me to get in the depth of that. That my whole thesis is all about that. And I became inquisitive. If there is a triangular communication, there must be a language of that communication. What is that language? That has a tremendous power of the transformative potency. It has incredible potency. What is that? That was my inquisitiveness that drove me to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Wherever I could get my hands, I got all around. And teaching these courses helped me tremendously. The debates between Parinamvada and Vivartavada, here is just this last night, I went to the great depth, learn about Parinamvada and Vivartavada, how Parinamvada contesting the illusion theory of the Mayavadis called Vivartavada and Parinamvada. So there also I punched some holes in that. And I'm still doing some more research on that, okay? Elucidate how the universe transitions from potentiality within the divine into the manifest reality. This discussion underscores the eternal nature of both the cosmos and the living beings. So there's a tight interrelationship between ourselves and all the environment. Material world is all around us. How do we interact without knowing us? What is that drives us? How our senses come in contact with the sense objects in the environment? How the environment in their exchange relates us? That comes the genetics. How this triangular communication operates. How this body that we are born with it, there's the DNA. DNA charts our entire course for the rest of our life. It's fixed in that 3-meter long strand of DNA, tightly packed in 20 micron cell diameter. 20 micron means 1,000th of a centimeter. So that intrigued me so much. And how these genes are actually arranged on the 6-meter long DNA strand, why particular genes are expressed and why particular genes are not expressed. What is it that regulates? That's this principle of epigenetics. The sequence is important, but that's not the deciding factor who we are. The deciding factor how these genes are read in a differential manner. When the egg and sperm combined and divides, exactly every cell has the exactly same copy of the DNA. All those thousands of genes are there. Same genes in our skin, same genes in liver, same genes in kidney. So why differentially only kidney specific gene expression takes place? Gene readout takes place in kidney, and that happens in liver, happens in the brain. What is that? That is all epigenetics. And that's what the very word transformative nature, that we are born with it. How does it get transformed? Who we are in the beginning, before we came to Bhakti platform, we had this obnoxious personality. Oh, I'm somebody. Everybody else is piece of dirt. My intelligence is superior. I'm able to capture all this shastra, and I'm able to capture these wonderful, wonderful PowerPoints. Am I the one who is doing this thing? My little tiny brain? No, everything is being revealed to me. Then I figured out, identified the dots, and how to interconnect the dot in the right organized way so that it could make sense and could answer the questions I'm raising. That's where the Paramatma came. The Paramatma in my heart. See how this everything is regulated, fine way. I'm just sharing with you my personal experience. All these things that came being revealed to me from within me. All these PowerPoints came. It's nothing of my smartness. Everything is being revealed to me. So reality versus illusion. So that's what you have to understand. All these ideas came. It's not an illusion. You see the result right in front of you. These PowerPoints that you can see that, right? So this is not illusion. And you need to have, and you need to work towards, figure out. Intelligence is given to us. Make use of it while depending on the Supreme. In the language of Bhakti, the selective readout of the genes, that makes the sense. And that explains what we are born with it. Everything is in your DNA. But just because it is given there, we don't need to remain there. So the environment comes into play. Environment acts as a triggering factor, selectively turning on off specific genes that we need. So there are different aspects of bhakti, three gunas. That also, I believe, there are specific genes. Regulatory genes is more important than the structural part of the genes. That epigenetics taught me that. Interconnectedness of creation by emphasizing the transformative nature of energy. Everything what transformative comes into play. And the transformative ability, capability also comes from the Supreme. The role of the divine, the engagement of the Supreme Lord in the act of creation highlights a personal aspect of divinity. See that? When we talk about divinity, it is not something abstract term what the Mahavadis puts us to give us some idea of what the Brahman aspect of it. It's not some abstract term. There's a person behind that. And that person is the one which we can communicate, interrelate with our bhakti process. And that total unconditional surrender is required so that he is going to reveal to us, and that humility must be there to be able to accept humbly. Then more and more intelligence, avirat flow, continuous uninterrupted flow of intelligence comes in the second canto of Bhagavatam. There's a verse to that effect, that when we use something for his purpose, consider that is his mission to understand how the material world operates, then he reveals us in a way you are able to digest. And more inquisitive becomes, more and more you figure out how to apply for his cause, considering his mission, and more revelation comes into us. So the implication, the guidance, that's why he needs guidance, supreme guidance, to honor the ownership. That is why we should honor in great reverence in our bhakti. That bhakti becomes stronger and stronger, and realizing how much he is so compassionate to give us that supreme knowledge that we are really not qualified, and yet he gives us, and he makes us qualified to understand his intricate process and necessity of resources advocates of ethical living and sense of responsibility towards others. So now I'm making sure in storing all these PowerPoints and all this knowledge that Lord made me capable to come up with, understand that it is stored. I'm preparing I'm grooming this team so that it should not end with my life. It should continue and prosper further. That's what all of you are there to take it to the next generation. That's what the Lord operates that way. He prepares, and nobody is indispensable. If you're not ready, he has somebody else to take your place. So grab the opportunity that he has given all of us. We are all given unique capabilities, unique abilities that the other person doesn't have. So unite that effort and create something supreme, something wonderful. And the Lord will be very happy. Brahman and perception. Brahman stands as the ultimate reality, transcending every duality and distinctions. To truly pursue Brahman, one must cultivate a purified mind. See that? The stubborn mind, you can make that mind as your friend. Only abhyasa yogena, vairagya yogena, and take clues from the Supreme. He is ready to give the clues, and he is Parokshavada. Krishna is never direct. He will give you, and he'll make you think on your feet. He'll guide you, but directly he's not going to spoon feed you. You need to play your part. You need to do your part. Then everything is going to be given to you day by day. Illusion of diversity. The interconnection of the universe, Brahman, and the illusory power of Maya. You see how I'm getting carried away? Interconnected to the creation, reality versus illusion, emphasizing the transformative, this transformative nature. That's what I was explaining you. Brahman and the perception. Brahman stands as the ultimate reality, transcending every duality and distinction. To truly pursue Brahman, one must cultivate a purified mind. That's what I was talking about, the mind. Mind is a double-edged sword. Don't let the mind control you, but you control the mind. And how to control the mind? Krishna has already given us some clues for us. Like I said, he's Parokshavada. He never gives straight answers, but he gives clues to think on your own feet. If you make an effort, the universe is presented not as a concrete reality, but as an illusion. That's the illusion of diversityism, Mayavad thinking, born from ignorance, avidya. The myriad diversity pursued by uniform mind are deceptive. They mask the true nature of existence. The belief in duality, seeing oneself as separate from Brahman, incurs suffering. So that is what the problem is. That the problem is that we disconnect ourselves from Brahman, from Paramatma, from Bhagavan. If we disconnect with us and solely depend on our own intelligence, as this Mayavadi says that everything is illusion, then it's going to remain illusion. Because you have to re-establish that connection with Brahman. Then things will become clearer. Right now, it's a dhundla sa lag raha hai, very foggy, but everything will gradually clarify if you bring the element of Bhagavan in your life. The role of knowledge and ignorance, the transformative potency, again the word transformative, the transformative potency of Brahma Vidya. The Brahma Vidya is in this Vedanta Sutras. Knowledge of Brahman, it's also called Brahma Sutras, empowers individuals to rise above the mundane experience of life. So we are being trapped in this, being the part of this material world and so much engrossed right from beginning, life after life. Then we forget who really we are, why we are here, what purpose we are here. So that comes through this transformative nature of bhakti. The knowledge connection that was broken is going to be re-established. And bhakti is going to, once it started, it'll keep growing, keep growing. It empowers individuals to rise above the mundane experience of life. So this, daily going to 9 to 5 job, it goes 8 hours job, but about 3 to 4 hours you spend traveling only, crowded trains, buses, and so on like that. So about 12 hours a day is gone like that. And then you eat and drink, and home, interact with your family members. The night comes, you get so tired, you sleep. And that's how the whole life is spent like that. At some point you wake up, you realize that I need to make sense of all these things that when somebody is there who is self-realized, you take help in great humility and surrender yourself. Total surrender is the question rose in that about today's recap session. Why we need this total surrender, unconditional surrender. Because only when we surrender ourselves unconditionally in a revolutionary mood, then your guru is going to be ready that this particular disciple is ready. So I must give him that knowledge. And that's how it works. Brahman is connecting with us through the intermediary guru. Guru seva is that important. And with your fellow students, your teammates, sadhu sangha, it promotes that and raises that platform. Role of knowledge and ignorance. So transformative potency of Brahma Vidya, that knowledge about the Supreme, Vedanta Sutra we are going to get in very shortly after we complete these 11 lectures. Probably by the mid-March we'll finish that, and then we'll get in this Brahma Sutras or Vedanta Sutras. Incredible. There's a crowning achievement here. All this knowledge, all these different, some 46 plus courses that we conducted. This is the icing on the cake, Brahma Sutras. Individual to rise above the mundane experience of life, unveiling the truth that all existence is a manifestation of Brahman. So this manifestation of Brahman is 2 words, but within 2 words, so much amount of information is packed in, just like the 6 meter long, 3 meters long DNA, all the entire genes, all our life things is stored in that and compacted into 20 micron diameter cell, living cell. So this Brahman is so gigantic, but the gigantic nature of Brahman, he is ready to impart that knowledge to us, provided we have what it takes for us to learn. That great determination, the fire in your belly, the inquisitiveness, all these things must be there. And be ready to accept what Lord is giving us. Be ready to listen to God, what Lord is revealing us from within. Then nothing is kept secret. Everything is automatically unfolding, opening up a box like that. Maya as creative power. Maya functions as a divine creative power. So Maya is going to do its part all the time, putting brake on our path. But there's a reason behind that, why Maya is like that. It's like a teacher is ready to teach, a student is ready to learn. Okay. But how do the teacher can make sure that you are really learning or not? That's why he gives quizzes, test, exam, writing essays. But you guys are not ready to take that. You want just give me an L. So then the effectiveness of transmission of knowledge doesn't work. When you are made to take test, exam, then you will really study. That important, this test and examination is there. The nature of reality. So this Brahman, the Bhagavan aspect of is also like that. This is a training wheel why we are in this material world. Material world is meant to give problems. It's like this. We are reluctant to take test, exam, writing essays and all things. We are so reluctant. So that's why you learn by mistakes. Intelligent beings don't learn by mistakes. Prabhupada used to give 3 examples. A child, somebody who is least intelligent, he will never learn. Okay. But an intelligent being is he will learn from others' mistakes. Okay. But even the superior intelligent person, he himself will make sure that he doesn't make mistakes. He'll learn from everybody, his self-experience, and learn about it. So this whole thing is this knowledge coming from a shastra. You have to really do manana, dhyana, manana, gargitating. Read my slides before you come into class. Then after finish the class, within next 2 to 3 days, you revisit. Then that knowledge, these slides are going to be stored from a short-term memory to long-term memory. That manana is more important than dhyana. Significant devotion. So with devotional, humble attitude, there's nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. Everything is right there. Lord is ready to give us if we are ready to accept it. The Brihad Aranika reveals that Brahman is the singular, unchanging reality that transcends the deceptive diversity perceived by untrained mind, while the perception of diversity leads to. So there's this Brihad Aranika Upanishad revealing some really very important lesson to us, how to train your mind, this different kind of diversity, and that is a deceptive nature of that, and you need to get around that. While the perception of diversity leads to death and suffering, authentic knowledge unveils the oneness of existence. So that oneness is also, again, how do you interpret? Not the way Mayavadis interpret. How the devotees interpret oneness, that we need to understand. Maya is explored as both a creative force and a source of illusion. So see, the Maya, a dual role. I was just about to talk about the test and exam, right? Maya is also giving us test and exam. But her ultimate role is to learn and apply. Learn from your mistakes. So she creates problems for us. But each and every suffering, we take an important lesson from it. And that way you can make progress. That's the role of Maya is there. She has a thankless job. She is a great devotee of the Lord herself. But that is the kind of thankless job she's given. So you have to understand why Maya is there. Just like teacher is giving exams. You don't want to take that exam. But that exams are given to assure that you really absorb the knowledge that is being transmitted, being imparted to you. That's why. So Maya is teaching us a harder way than easier way by our own choice. Enlightenment arises from Brahma Vidya. That's the Vedanta Sutra, allowing individuals to see beyond mundane confines and recognizing their relationship with the Supreme. So this Vedanta Sutras is really incredible knowledge is being given, and it is given in a very surreptitious manner, not clearly. You need somebody to explain. This is given in a cryptic way in these sutras. Sutras by design, only few words are there, phrases of words. Many times just 2 words. Athato Brahma Jigyasa, 2 or 3 words. For sometimes it gives 5, 6 words, but that's all. It doesn't go beyond that. But the so much incredible depth of knowledge is packed in these few words. That's the great supreme intelligence of Vyasa, and that's why we need is our acharyas commentaries to understand that. And this from the bhakti aspect, that's why the role of Baladev Vidyabhushan, our acharya, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, there are so many commentaries are there from different philosophers. Okay, from Mayavadi philosophers, Brahma. There's also Shankaracharya himself is written too. Other people also written that. But from the bhakti point of view, if one understand, then this Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary on Brahma Vidya on Vedanta Sutra is why it is that important. Ultimately, the Upanishads advocate. So Upanishad is not like a dry knowledge. It seemed like that because it's knowledge based, jnana based. It seemed like that. Very high power intelligence is required to study Upanishad. But if you make an effort, it is given there. You can understand, you can digest, you can apply that knowledge. Ultimately, so you need to have a right kind teacher to explain to you. Ultimately, the Upanishad advocate for a relationship with the divine. See that? Through bhakti. The key words coming right unfolded right now in front of us. It is cryptic, difficult, nonetheless, it reveals the relationship. We have this eternal relationship that is revealed to us. And what is the role of bhakti? Is the medium through which we absorb that knowledge. Only through bhakti in a very humble mood and total surrendering to our teacher or our guru, that the knowledge will flow. Because that is its ultimate purpose. True knowledge leads to a direct experience of Brahman. So now we are getting the Brahman realization. How do you get it? There is a way to get it. Critique of non-dualism. So all this theory that is mentioned here, we are going to get into these 11 lectures. Okay? It's a spectrum of philosophy. On one end, one extreme end is total atheistic, Gnostic, that rejects the authority of the Vedas, and some human beings are taken as God. It starts from there. Shunyavada, Gautama Buddha. Then comes the 4 Vaishnava. First comes the intermediate. Then Shankaracharya's Mayavad philosophy. Okay, but that each of them did a particular role to play in the evolutionary path, coming from straight impersonalism. There is no God. Everything is you, and when you end, life ends. Everything's zero. Nothing exists after this life. From that kind of philosophy to extreme other end is Dvaitavada, pure Dvaitavada of Madhvacharya. And then how to make sense of these 4 Vaishnava philosophies, the best of all these different, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu picked up that. Some good principles of all 4 Vaishnava philosophies, and there also there is a spectrum. Okay. pure Advaitavada against the Keval Advaitavada of Shankaracharya, and leading on to gradually Visisht Advaitavada, defined Advaitavada, that is, okay. Then comes pure Advaitavada, okay. Then comes Dvaita Advaitavada, mixture of that two. And then finally coming to pure Advaita, and then putting all four together, the essence of it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Achintya, Veda, Abheda, oneness and difference, both coexist. So there is some point of Bhagavad philosophy is there that needs to be taken into account. And only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could make sense out of it, the right way of thinking about it. So oneness and difference. So yes, there is the one whose energy is impersonal, but there is a person behind it. One who has that Shakti and Shaktiman, the one who possesses that Shakti. Shakti is impersonal, energy potency is impersonal, but there's a person behind that. You cannot separate between the two. They coexist within the same person. So both Advaitavada is there, it has its particular value, and pure duality is also there. Duality means there's a Jivatma and there is a Paramatma. Mayavadi said, no, only one Jiva. The Jiva itself can become Paramatma. One yourself can become Krishna. But there's a right way to understand that aspect also. It may sound kind of terrible mess, but this is right. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu helped us to make sense out of it. So he picked up the best of the old four worlds, four different philosophies, even among the Vaishnavas. And then he came up with this thing. And that became the basis of this philosophy, this commentary, Baldev Vidyabhushan. And Lord Govindji himself revealed to him that intricate commentary to understand the complex sutras, which is the pact of knowledge in just few words. That's why. So all this that we are talking about towards the end, that's what I'm telling you. It's not the diversion, but all this thing that's written, ultimate meaning of that exactly is there, that we are now getting ready, becoming qualified to accept it. So this, pay close attention to this all 14 lectures, 11 lectures. So now the final word, the supreme goal is coming into play now in 16, the Param Purushartha. In the beginning, I just told you about the Param Purushartha. So this Vaishnava philosophy is coming right there. You see that? Meditation, worship, upasana is there. Contrasting philosophical views, the spectrum, philosophical spectrum, that's what is given like that. It's contrasting philosophy. It seems like they're pole apart viewpoints, but there's interconnecting points are there. And that's how you make connection with different philosophies. The text contrasts the views of Vaishnavas and Mayavadis. Mayavadis see God is distinct from the worshipper, emphasizing the non-dual nature of Brahman. So this non-duality, and so non-duality is Mayavad philosophy. Okay? And then duality is the devotee's version of thinking the same thing. How could we bridge them together? How could you create the bridge? That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has done that part. So they argue that Brahman cannot adequately describe as devoid of form and qualities. They're going to converse the Vaishnavas, particularly Ramanujacharya. He first started making the sense. That's why he came up with the distinct Visishta. Visishta means special, qualified Advaitavada. The distinction between Apara and Paravidya engages the material realities, while Paravidya unveils the transcendental essence of things. So there's there are two kinds of knowledge there, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Aparavidya means right on the material world. Para means supreme, Practical application of spiritual knowledge, Adhyatma yoga, all these things there. It's not that much. Philosophical signal, the nature of reality. I already overspent 10 minutes now. So Param Purushartha, that's what I was telling you about. So now we are going to make that Param Purushartha is preparing ourselves to understand Vedanta Sutras. So this 11 lectures is that of a part of Param Purushartha. Consider that, okay? And these terms, it will be advanced explained to you in these 11 lectures. This Archi Radhi Marga Utkranti, the technical words, what it is exactly, that is going to be explained to you. Okay? And liberation moksha. Jivan Mukti, Vidya Mukti. So now we are going to become liberated right in this lifetime, in this material body, when you get this knowledge. And preparedness to understand Bhakti Shastra, this particular Vedanta Sutras, that is, you become Jivan Mukti right in this lifetime when you get that supreme knowledge. That's where the liberation, doors of liberation gets open for you. So this philosophy, particular this thing, is explained right here. Just read it very clearly. How the soul escapes from its material body in different ways, different dwara, different doors it opens up. The best way that you never want to come back is coming soul living from the Brahmarandra. That's the skull of your head right there. That's the best way. But otherwise, coming out from Paramatma, right from the heart, it also happens, So this thing is given, this that knowledge is given. I'm sorry, I exhausted my time limit. Haribol, thank you. I'm sorry, I apologize for that. But all this what I told you today, it seemed like that I got digressed, but it was not digression. It was in direct connection to what all these things there, what I just told you. How, and the example I gave you, how my knowledge got evolved at the present stage, where I began at what point and what I am now, is because of this, what I learned in the Shastra. I try to apply it in my life, and you see the result of that. Haribol.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। तो वंडरफुल क्लास प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, लास्ट स्लाइड जो है वो हम अष्टांग योगा के साथ कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं? ये जो सारी नाड़ियों के बारे में बताया है वो।
Yeah, how the soul escapes at the time of her death, from the body, that is explained. That it's given in some Upanishads actually,
Okay, Prabhu.
Ashtanga Yoga, it qualifies you for you to understand that, but it's not the direct way for us to have that kind of liberation. No.
प्रभु, अष्टांग योगा जो है वो हेल्प करते हैं ना हमारे चक्रों को जागृत करने के लिए।
It prepares us for that, for to understand that, and to it prepares our mind and body right for that. Okay, but it's not the directly. It's that's the way. It doesn't liberate us that way exactly, to my understanding. Okay, I could be wrong.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. When you ultimately when you Ashtanga ultimately reaches Samadhi level, when you reach to, if you are able to get in Samadhi level, which is not an easy process, the Turiya state, then you'll make some connection with the Supreme Brahman realization, Bhagavan realization. But Bhagavan realization comes after real bhakti part of it. In Ashtanga, you are nowhere else saw that bhakti process. Yes, you make connection with Paramatma. That is there, Ashtanga Yoga. The goal is to realize Paramatma, but most yoga practitioners never understood that.
Yes, Prabhuji, very true.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Today's was the extreme. You took us to the extreme. How Brahman is shrouded in secrecy, but how to unravel also the secrecy gradually. How you mold into the pathway. You gave your personal example. How from chemistry to organic chemistry to genetics. How evolve. One is a focus with a purpose, aim, right? With a purpose.
Yeah.
How the Paramatma or the Lord sitting in you guides you through because it's not your own efforts, right? So somebody
No,
guiding
no.
is there. It's a guiding is there.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
how that understand, how depend on that, and anything that you want, unless until you pour yourself, Lord is not going to explain. He is also aparaksha. You mentioned very clearly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is there, but unless until you are willing to take the first step, Lord is not going to take the next 9 steps. That is ultimately on that.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
understanding. So that
yeah,
surrendering process to me is exactly like let myself, put in the hands of the Supreme God,
yeah.
Paramatman. Let Him control me. Let Him dictate to me, and my fingers are like mechanical, like pen, and He is using my hands to write. So that's how this PowerPoints came into existence by that process. I let Him use me in whatever the way He deemed necessary. Okay, so that is
Yeah,
called surrendering process.
correct. So
Surrendering
just I'll
process
take.
is
Yeah. Yeah, you
yeah.
mentioned
Go
very
ahead.
nice. Yeah, just 1 minute I'll take because I want to for others also say. Raksha Mataji was talking about the Ashtanga Yoga and Jnana, whatever the knowledge you have, how to apply the knowledge. As I look at that when you go to the Ashtanga Yoga, because you have knowledge, everything is there. Ashtanga Yoga, either with that knowledge, how to apply, how to take it forward, right? Next stage is Ashtanga Yoga. With that, you want to get escape from here. Brahma Rudra, you talk about, with that all knowledge, how will get out of that? And passing through the 7 layers of the whole thing and go back, but eventually your own efforts, or if you by chance you remember Paramatma, then you are done. At least partly you are done with your work. So how they are interconnected also, Prabhuji, I was mesmerized
Yes.
to see that. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
The samadhi stage that you Ashtanga yoga you reach, that's the goal. But how many millions of people who are practicing yoga, they're ever reached to the samadhi stage? Very few. Very few.
Sometime in future, Prabhuji, there's a
And it's
Changdok
not and that
persistent.
process and that
Yeah.
process is not for everyone. Very
Okay.
hard process.
Yeah, just I want to say for 5 seconds further. In our Varkari Sampradaya, there's a Changdev Pasa state. The person when is in Turiya state, there are two personalities. How person is in Turiya state, there are two personalities. How they interact with each other, how they interact. Both are there here, Naneshwar and Changdev. In Maharashtra, both are in
Oh,
Turiya
really?
state. Turiya state. How they interact with each other. There are 65 slokas, Changdev Pasiste. Maybe in the future, I will present that. Maybe and gist of that.
That will be
I
great.
was
That will
missed
be great for
and
all of us.
yeah, and you are preparing for that. Base. I was looking for the base, and you are giving beautiful opportunity. How gradually to understand those stages, right? Very, very grateful. But my ultimate purpose is to how one is in that stage, how they can interact. They don't interact like you and me, right? They don't interact like a Karmi can interact with Karmi, Gyani can interact a different way. But how Turiya is out of that, how they talk to each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
Beautiful 65 slokas. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
That will be great. Yeah, it's the first time I heard about these things. So really, Sharad Prabhuji, we ought to give him that opportunity. Okay.
Mhm.
If we finish this course, he will come later.
Very nice,
All right.
Radha Vinas Prabhuji. We will eager to hear this.
We were talking about the yogis, the jnanis, but please remember that for any one of them, they may do this sadhana for many, many lifetimes. But to reach the destination, that is the loka of the Supreme Lord, they have to go through bhakti only, and there is no other way. There is just no other way. They can merge in Brahma Jyoti, there is no problem. They can go to Paramatma, but they cannot attain the Supreme Lord, that is the Bhagavan realization, unless they go through bhakti. That's why, as we'll also be talking about the Shankaracharya's, his followers, they know what is true, but they also know that what is being taught in their tradition, that is not correct thing. That's why there are many of the followers who have followed the path of bhakti, and they have reached the ultimate destination. There are also yogis, highest class yogis. I have also heard the stories of personal stories of some of the people. They have reached the highest level, but at the end they have followed the path of bhakti to go to the spiritual world, because there is no other path at all. When I have
Prabhuji, I'll take now 5 seconds because you raised such a nice Changdev person, 1400 years lived and surrender, to whom 5 years Muktabai as a bhakti. He surrenders, accepts her guru. You know what you are saying? There's a right example there from there.
yes, that is very correct. Then in the previous class, that is recap, we saw in slides 12 and 14 the various destinations. One goes to the spiritual world, or to the world of the demigods, or to the hell. Do you think there are any other place also where people go? This is my question.
Pitraloka.
Yes, Pitraloka, and very rare persons, they also go to Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka, it is given in the Mahabharata. There Narad Muni is telling, Narad Muni is the son of Brahma, but he had to do penance for 10,000 years just to go to Brahmaloka. That is what is the greatness of Brahmaloka. Then I'll tell you, there is no time to tell a story about Brahmaloka, what is given in the Mahabharata.
We still have 5 minutes. 5 minutes still have.
Pardon, Prabhuji?
You still have 5 minutes, so
Yes,
give us some highlights of it.
there is no time. But I'll request the devotees to understand this is Parinam Bhava, that is the Shakti Parinam Bhava of the Vaishnavas, and the Vivarta Bhava of the Mayavadis, because that will help you understand later when the various classes take place. And Prabhuji has explained earlier many times these two things, especially when we went through the Sandarbha classes a long time back. I think all of you were not there, but some of you attended those classes. So these particular concepts one should understand. Then the last portion of this present lesson, they are very, very difficult concepts. We should try to know them and try to understand them, and more of it will come later on. Thank you, Prabhuji. Now the time is.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. As usual, wonderful
Yeah.
session, Prabhu. Okay, I had a different
Thank you.
perception on Upanishads, but after reading all these four parts, there is so much a change on the perception on Upanishad, and also there is definitely there is so much learning on the Brahman word itself. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's conclude the class. Somebody is going to do the Nishima prayer.
I'll do it.
Okay, wonderful.
Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Lad Daina. Prahlad Lad Daina. Hiranyakashipu Vakshahar. Hiranyakashipu Vakshahar. Shilatanka Nakhalai. Shilatanka Nakhalai. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha. Yato Yato Yamitato Narsimha. Ito Ito Yamitato Narsimha. Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha. Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha. Narsimhadim Sharanam Prapade. Narsimhadim Sharanam Prapade. Tavakkal Kamalvari Nakham Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hari Jaya Jagadish Hari Tavakkal Kamalvari Nakham Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hari Jaya Jagadish Hari Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev जय श्री नरसिंह भगवान देव की जय प्रदत्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जय चंद्रकांत की जय चल प्रभु की जय संजय प्रभु की जय assemble all devotees माता जी सन प्रभु की जय हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Ram Ram.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी फॉर वंडरफुल
So
सेवा
wonderful. Harsha, so beautifully
Very
said that.
थैंक
Thank
यू
you.
इट्स
Thank
ऑल
you
योर
very much,
मर्सी
everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Dear
Thank you.
devotees,
Thank you.
please remember coming weekend we have got classes on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Friday Indian time evening 8 o'clock. Please log in around 5 minutes before.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right.
Okay.
8 o'clock, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. So I look forward to see you
Thank
all on this Friday night. Okay. Haribol.
Yeah.
For us
Hare.
in the US and Canada, it's in the morning time. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
ओके
Thank you.
ओके थैंक यू
Haribol.
It is double shift for you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam to all devotees.